Real quick before we roll this footage, Congressman Jason Crow just walked into a defense hearing and methodically dismantled Pete Hegseth's credibility piece by piece with one of the most surgical lines of questioning you're going to see in any congressional hearing this year. He came in with documented facts, specific names, specific dates, and specific questions that Hegseth had absolutely no good answers for. And the more Hegseth squirmed and deflected and accused Crow of playing games, the more obvious it became that Crow had hit something real. Watch this.
Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I want to go in a little bit different direction. Timothy Parlatore served as your private attorney, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Parlatore also served as private attorney for President Trump's campaign, correct?
I'm not privy to every professional position that he's held.
Well, I'll help you out. He did. And you appointed Mr. Parlatore as your senior advisor, correct?
He does reserve duty on behalf of the Navy.
His title is senior as an advisor. You gave him that title, correct?
And I would count him as very much an advisor of mine.
Yep, he travels with you, correct?
Tim Parlatore has been a long-term friend. He's a great patriot.
He travels with you. That's not what I asked. I reclaim my time. He travels with you, doesn't he? He travels with you, doesn't he? Correct? There's public Instagram that shows this. Just say yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay. He sits in meetings with you and advises you, doesn't he?
He sits in some meetings on occasion.
Yeah, well, he maintains a desk in an office in the Pentagon, does he not?
I'd have to check.
You don't know?
It's a big Pentagon.
You directly commissioned Mr. Parlatore in the Naval Reserve as a Navy commander in March 2025, did you not?
I was very proud to do so.
And when you did, because he's a Navy Reserve officer, he didn't have to go through the PPO process, the White House Presidential Personnel Office, right? He wasn't vetted by a White House PPO.
Oh. Uniformed service members don't get vetted by...
The answer is yes. He didn't have to be vetted by a White House PPO. He didn't go through the Senate confirmation process either, did he? The answer is no.
I don't know what you're getting to, but Tim is a fantastic...
I'll tell you what I'm getting to. The answer is no, right?
He does great work.
Okay. He didn't maintain a security clearance when you appointed him as special advisor. Is that right?
I'd have to check.
You don't know?
I mean, anybody that has access to sensitive material is going to have the appropriate clearance.
Okay, so when you appointed him as special advisor, he had a security clearance?
You're trying to piece together a timeline.
No, I'm asking a simple question. One of your special, most sensitive advisors, did he have a security clearance?
No, you're playing a gotcha game like you do on TV and everywhere else. You're trying to thread together details that are connected about something else.
Clearly, you're concerned about my line of questioning, aren't you, Mr. Secretary? Because you know where it's going, don't you? I think you do. So, does Mr. Parlatore represent foreign governments? He has a private law practice, does he not?
From what I understand of his law practice, he does a lot of great work for service members in the military and other...
He maintains a private law practice. Does he represent foreign governments or foreign persons in that private law practice?
I don't know.
You don't know. Somebody who's sitting in your meetings, a special advisor, you don't know. Does he represent any senior officers who are currently under consideration for promotion by you or your office?
The only person that makes determinations about senior officers is me.
Answer the question. Does he represent senior officers who are under consideration for promotion by you?
No, I'm the one that makes decisions about choosing.
Does he represent them, Mr. Secretary? Does he represent them?
He doesn't represent anyone. He's a legal advisor and always has been.
But he has clients, does he not?
He's a legal advisor to me on reserve duty, and he always has been, and he does a fantastic job.
Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed? I reclaim my time. Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed from an investigation by the White House last year?
I don't know what you're referring to, but not that I'm aware of.
You're not aware of it. Was it true that you were also removed from that same investigation? The answer is yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
You're not aware of it. That's interesting. Well, is it true that Mr. Parlatore disparaged President Trump?
I don't know what you're referring to, but no.
Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was accused by President Trump and his lawyers of lying?
What you're accused of is a cute line of questioning that's going nowhere.
Well, it's going somewhere, which is why you're not answering the question. Was it true that he was accused of lying by the president's legal team?
I'm not familiar to. You'd have to give me the context.
Well, it's right here. You want to look at the statement from President Trump's legal team?
Anybody can blow up a quote and claim it says something, and that's what you're doing in a little stunt.
Secretary Hegseth, what I'm really concerned about is you purport to have unfaltering loyalty to President Trump, and yet you are continuously going.
Oh, you care a lot about President Trump, don't you?
You are going behind his back.
Waste of your 5 minutes.
Appointing
a
people.
Huge,
I reclaim my time.
Waste of your 5 minutes that led nowhere.
I reclaim my time. You are repeatedly going behind the president's back.
Gentlemen from Colorado's time. Go ahead, Mr. Crow.
You are repeatedly going behind President Trump's back, appointing people who he has accused of lying, who the White House is accused of lying.
Gentleman's time's expired.
And you are not being honest with President
gentlelady
Trump.
from South Carolina, Ms. Mace.
Welcome back to Winner's Breakdowns. I'm Winner, and if that clip did not make you sit up straight and pay very close attention, then I need you to watch it one more time, because what just happened in that hearing room is significantly more important than the heated back and forth on the surface might make it appear. There are layers to this exchange that deserve to be carefully unpacked, and I'm going to do exactly that right now. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button immediately. Smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me what you thought the moment that clip ended, because I read every single one and I want to know what stood out to you. Let's get into all of it, because what you just watched was not a political stunt. What you just watched was a United States congressman doing exactly what the American people sent him to Washington to do. Asking hard, specific, documented questions about the people who have been placed in positions of extraordinary power and trust over the national security apparatus of the most powerful military in the world. Jason Crow walked into that hearing room with his homework done, his facts straight, his questions precise, and his eyes fixed on a thread that he was determined to pull all the way to the end. And Pete Hegseth's response to every single one of those questions told you something very important about the man who is currently running the United States Department of Defense. Let's start at the beginning and build this out the way Crow built it, because the architecture of his questioning was deliberate and careful, and I think it is important to understand why he asked things in the order he asked them. He started with the basics. Timothy Parlatore was Hegseth's private attorney. Yes. Parlatore also worked for Trump's campaign. Yes. Hegseth appointed Parlatore as his senior advisor. Yes. Parlatore travels with Hegseth. Yes. Parlatore sits in meetings with Hegseth. Yes. Parlatore has a desk in the Pentagon. Hegseth does not know. Each of these facts by itself is just a data point. But together they build a picture of a man who has been brought into the inner circle of the Defense Department through a back door that completely bypassed the normal accountability mechanisms that exist specifically to prevent this kind of thing from happening. And that back door is what I want to spend some real time on, because I think it is the most important structural issue in this entire exchange, and it is the one that gets least attention in the broader conversation about what Hegseth has been doing at the Pentagon. When Hegseth personally commissioned Parlatore as a Navy Reserve commander in March 2025, that commission came with a very significant consequence that Crow put his finger on precisely. As a uniformed military member, Parlatore did not have to go through White House Presidential Personnel Office vetting. He did not have to go through Senate confirmation. Two of the most important gatekeeping mechanisms in the entire federal government. The process is designed specifically to scrutinize the backgrounds, loyalties, conflicts of interest, and qualifications of people being placed in sensitive positions, were both completely bypassed. In one move, by commissioning his own personal attorney as a Navy Reserve commander, Hegseth managed to bring his closest confidant into the highest levels of defense decision making without either the White House or the Senate having any meaningful say in whether that was appropriate. Think about what that means. Think about what the vetting process and the confirmation process actually exist to do. They exist to ask hard questions about potential conflicts of interest. They exist to examine financial relationships, foreign connections, professional histories, and anything else that might compromise someone's ability to serve the public interest with undivided loyalty. And all of that, every single one of those safeguards, was neatly sidestepped by a military commission that Hegseth himself signed. If that does not concern you as an American citizen regardless of your politics, then I want you to think about it one more time. Because the question of who has access to the Secretary of Defense, who sits in his meetings, who travels with him, who advises him on the most sensitive national security decisions in the world is not a partisan question. It is a fundamental question about the integrity of the institution that is responsible for protecting every single one of us. And then Crow started asking about Parlatore's private law practice. And this is where things got really uncomfortable for Hegseth really fast. Does Parlatore represent foreign governments or foreign persons in his private practice? Hegseth does not know. Does he represent military officers who are currently under consideration for promotion by Hegseth's office? Hegseth deflects and talks about how he is the one who makes promotion decisions, which was not the question. Crow asked it again. Does Parlatore represent them? Hegseth still does not give a direct answer. He is the one who makes decisions. He is a legal advisor. He does great work. I want you to sit with this for a second because this is extraordinary. The Secretary of Defense, the man who runs the largest and most powerful military organization in the history of the world, does not know whether his closest personal advisor, the man who travels with him and sits in his meetings and advises him on his most sensitive decisions, represents foreign governments in his private law practice. He does not know. The man with a desk in the Pentagon, a man who has access to the innermost workings of the United States Department of Defense, might be simultaneously representing the interests of foreign governments or foreign nationals in his private legal work, and the person who brought him into that building and gave him that access does not know whether that is the case. If that has not set off alarm bells for you, I genuinely do not know what will. Foreign influence and foreign access to the inner workings of American national security decision-making is exactly the kind of thing that the entire vetting and confirmation apparatus was built to prevent. And it was bypassed entirely by one man's decision. And then the exchange reached a point that I think was the most revealing moment in the entire clip. Crow asked whether Parlatore had been removed from a White House investigation. Hegseth said he was not aware of it. Crow asked whether Hegseth himself had been removed from that same investigation. Hegseth said he was not aware of it. And Crow asked whether Parlatore had been accused by President Trump's own legal team of lying and disparaging the president. Hegseth said he was not familiar with it. Now here is why this part of the exchange matters so much, and why I think it was the moment Hegseth most wanted to escape from. Throughout this entire hearing, Hegseth has presented himself as a man of unfaltering loyalty to Donald Trump. That is his entire brand. That is the entire basis on which he was nominated and confirmed, and on which he has operated as Secretary of Defense. He is Trump's man at the Pentagon, loyal to the president above all else. And yet the evidence that Crow was presenting, the accusation from Trump's own legal team that Parlatore was not being honest, the removal from a White House investigation, suggests that the man Hegseth has placed at the center of his inner circle, the man he personally commissioned and brought into the highest levels of Pentagon access, is someone who Trump's own people have had serious concerns about. That is not a line of questioning that goes nowhere the way Hegseth tried to claim. That is a line of questioning that goes directly to the heart of whether Hegseth's judgment can be trusted and whether his vaunted loyalty to the president is actually matched by his decisions in practice. Because there are really only two possibilities here, and neither one of them is particularly reassuring. Either Hegseth knew about Trump's team's concerns with Parlatore and appointed him anyway, in which case he was making a deliberate choice to surround himself with someone his own president did not trust. Or he did not know, in which case the Secretary of Defense is making consequential personnel decisions about who has access to the innermost workings of American national security without being adequately informed about the backgrounds and histories of the people he is bringing in. Neither scenario inspires confidence. Neither scenario suggests the kind of careful, rigorous judgment that the American people deserve from the person running the Department of Defense. And throughout all of this, Hegseth's response was to accuse Crow of playing games, of running a gotcha, of threading together details that were about something else, of wasting his 5 minutes. He raised his voice. He talked over Crow. He made personal comments about Crow's television appearances. He did everything except answer the questions that were being asked. And this is a pattern that we have seen from this administration over and over again. When the questions are specific and documented and grounded in verifiable facts, the The response is not to engage with the substance. The response is to attack the questioner, to dismiss the line of inquiry, to make the hearing about the tone of the questioning rather than the content of the answers. It is a strategy designed to run out the clock, and it is a strategy that only works if the people asking the questions are not willing to hold their ground. Crow held his ground. He stayed calm. He stayed precise. Every time Hegseth tried to redirect him or talk over him or accuse him of playing games, Crow came right back to the specific question he had asked. Does he represent foreign governments? Does he represent officers under consideration for promotion? Was he removed from a White House investigation? Were you removed from a White House investigation? Was he accused of lying by the president's legal team? He did not let Hegseth's bluster knock him off his line of questioning, and that discipline and that composure under pressure is exactly what congressional oversight looks like when it is done right. This is why elections matter. This is why having Democrats in that hearing room with the preparation and the commitment to do this kind of detailed, documented, persistent oversight work matters enormously for every American who cares about the integrity of the institutions that protect us. The Department of Defense is not a private enterprise. The Secretary of Defense is not running a personal fiefdom where he gets to bring in his friends and his attorneys through back channels and bypass every accountability mechanism that exists. The American people deserve to know who has access to their national security infrastructure, who is advising the people making the most consequential decisions about their safety, and whether those people have conflicts of interest that compromise their ability to serve the public good. That is not a partisan demand. That is a basic requirement of democratic accountability, and Jason Crow showed today that he is absolutely committed to pursuing it regardless of how much pushback he gets from across that table. Democrats need to keep doing this. Keep showing up at the research done and the questions ready. Keep holding the line when the people they're questioning try to run out the clock or dismiss the inquiry or make it about anything other than the substance of the questions being asked. Keep building the documented record, because even when the questions do not get answered in the hearing room, the record of the evasion itself tells a story that the American people deserve to hear. So drop a comment and tell me what hit you hardest in that clip. Was it the revelation that Parlatore bypassed White House vetting and Senate confirmation entirely? Was it the fact that Hegseth does not know whether his closest advisor represents foreign governments? Was it the accusation from Trump's own legal team that Parlatore was not being honest? Was it Hegseth's complete inability to engage with any of the specific questions Crow was asking without resorting to personal attacks and deflection? I want to hear all of it, because this is exactly the kind of conversation Winners Breakdowns was built for. If you believe that transparency, accountability, and the rule of law are not optional extras, but the foundation of everything this country is supposed to stand for, then you know exactly what to do right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with everybody in your life who needs to understand what is actually at stake in these hearings and why the work that Jason Crow and Democrats like him are doing in that room matters for every single one of us. This has been Winners Breakdowns. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay committed to holding power accountable, and I will catch you in the next one.